Welcome back. This week we're talking about technology, and joining me now from NC State's Virtual Reality and Augmented Reality Lab is Dr. Karen Chin and Rebecca Ellis. And to both of you, thank you very much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
I'm just curious, I mean, why did you guys get involved? Doctor, let me start with you. I mean, why did this field attract you?
I am very interested in interacting with different technologies and see how then they can be applied to improve our daily lives. And it's kind of the inevitable direction we're moving into. More and more technologies fill up our daily lives. And now we see augmented reality, virtual reality, they're reviving, basically. So this is an opportunity for us to take on and then see how that can be used to improve our lives, healthcare.
And how about you? The same thing? You see this as a bright future, a growing?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think I was first attracted just to the Industrial and Systems Engineering department at NC State. A lot of the research was interesting to me, and then once I got into looking at the particular research topics, Dr. Chen's research had kind of caught my eye, and as I talked to her more about it, I could see just those applications applying to a lot of the interest that I'd had previously in other work that I've done in the healthcare industry specifically, but also looking at safety training and just how to implement, like she was saying, other technologies into just the way that humans are interacting with each other in their environments.
You know, and let's talk about that, because we talked a little bit about gaming. You know, that's about my experience, or 3D movies. Mm-hmm. What you're doing, it goes far beyond that. What are and we kind of mentioned a little bit about healthcare, but what are the applications for something like virtual reality and augmented reality in helping folks, whether it be in industry or in the medical field?
In our Industrial Systems Engineering department, we look at virtual reality applications in healthcare. So in the clinical settings, see if that can be used as a home-based exercise equipment to keep people engaged, because it can present an interactive game-like environment, and also for occupational training, that's also an interactive space, so that either trainees or workers can use instructions that were provided to them in a virtual reality environment. They can follow along, and that can be more intuitive than a pamphlet or book-based training instructions.
Well, you have a new group of folks. I mean, you know, younger people are very, tuned in to technology. I mean, and so I can see where just culling an individual's interest with virtual reality, for instance, is very important. Is it just the medical field, or can this expand into other industries?
Yeah, it can definitely expand. We see it a lot in industries just where there's a lot of kind of musculoskeletal risk. We can do training on that environment where we see that there is a risk for, let's say, like low back or shoulder injury, and then we can do both training and rehab all within a virtual reality setting that allows us to kind of increase the safety for both the people that are training that might not know yet how to do it, or the people that are rehabbing, at-risk joints in their body.
So it's not just taking care of those who have injured themselves. You're actually preventing the injury itself.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you're kind of going beyond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you see this going in the future? I mean, to me, you're like on the cutting edge, just beginning. I don't know, maybe that's not an accurate description of where you're at, but where do you see this 10 years from now or 20 years from now?
I would imagine this to become more and more used in the industry to help people to be more productive, say in warehouse or order picking environment. If there are instructions through, say, augmented reality that's being provided to them, then they can work more efficiently and complete the tasks in a more timely manner, and that can bring down the cost over time. So in different areas, different industries, I would see that happening.
Is that the biggest limitation at this point, is cost, or are you limited by the technology itself that's available to you to create this virtual reality? I know as a consumer, cost is always an issue, right?
Definitely.
So, you see when more people use it, the cost comes down. But when you create what you create, I'm just curious as to whether or not you need new technology down the road in order to take that next step for you. Is that not an issue?
I don't know if necessarily cost. I think that cost can be a really big benefit for the virtual reality training because it's going to reduce your cost in terms of having to retrain, having just kind of injury on the job, compensation, all that kind of stuff is a huge cost. And training for healthcare, like if you're looking specifically at training and specifically at rehab, this will decrease the amount of time that needs to be put into it. And also, if you have that resource already in place, that's going to help you down the road.
So where does it stand right now as far as how prevalent is this? I mean, I know that for kids, for instance, there are some doctors' offices that kind of employ that to treat them and that sort of thing. But is this something we're going to see? I know we're going to see more of, but how much of it is already out there?
Good question. So I don't have an exact figure, like number to it, but outside of research laboratories, we're already seeing this. That's showing up in our everyday lives, even on your cell phones. You can definitely experience what augmented reality is. So it's within everyone's reach, and we are. This is not virtual reality, augmented reality is not a privilege. It should be open, available, and it's becoming available to everyone.
No, doctor, let me just ask you, there are a lot of folks, a lot of students who want to get into this. What would you say to them? I mean, this is a field, I don't know how well known it is to a lot of folks who might be watching today. It seems like this would be a field that is going to go anywhere but up. I mean, it's going to grow, would you say? What would you say to the folks who might be thinking about this?
I would definitely encourage them to get engaged and don't worry about the sounds difficult or sounds very techy, but if you really feel like that's something you want to try, give it a shot and have fun.
So for folks who might be interested then, how can they get more information?
They can reach out to us at North Carolina State University Industrial Systems Engineering Department, and the website is isc.ncsu.edu.
Terrific. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, now check it out. We're going to the lab, so don't you dare go anywhere.